Hi everybody, Dr. Brian Hooten here, founder of Hooten Family Healing Center in Dallas, Texas. Whether you're watching this on our YouTube channel somewhere or social media, or if you're sitting in our office, what I want to do in this short video is destroy your faith in cancer screening tests. Not all of them, but most of them. Things like mammograms and prostate exams and colonoscopies. You know, these things carry with them side effects. In the case of mammograms, the side effects of mammograms are more cancer cells. On top of that, the amount of misdiagnoses that happen. The amount of misdiagnoses in prostate exams is through the roof. And then colonoscopies carry with them the side effect of sepsis or death. Right? All these tests, think about this. Now, apart from the danger of going through the test or the barbaric nature of a prostate exam, I mean, I can't imagine what it would take to hold me down for somebody to do a manual prostate exam on me, or they've got this robotic thing where they're putting something where it doesn't belong to feel my prostate or take a picture of it. I mean, that's insane that we have come to a place in society where that's acceptable, that we can penetrate our bodies to test for cancer, or we can smash breast tissue with high doses of radiation, like that's going to keep us healthy. Or in the case of colonoscopies, there was a lady when 5 years ago, so we're in 2016, 2011, I was in my office, a patient came in, a friend of hers had a colonoscopy in the morning, and the colonoscopy tore the lining of the colon, and that afternoon she died of something called septicemia. I mean, come on people, we can test for cancer, we can look for cancer without causing more death and destruction. Right? The number one problem with testing is that when will a test find out that you have cancer? After you already have it. Okay, then what are you going to do? If you're going to go in for a cancer test, if you're going to go in for a screening, you better have a plan before you go in. And that plan cannot be, I hope I don't have it. All right, if you get diagnosed with this thing, you better have a plan, because boy, they will scare the tar out of you to do their nonsense treatments. All right, just if you haven't seen our videos on chemotherapy, go back and watch on our YouTube channel the Becoming a Cancer Killer videos that were recorded. Chemotherapy's history is just an abomination to a human being. And it has never been proven to save any lives. Sure, it'll shrink a tumor, but the person dies. It's insane to think that we've got to do that. So if you're going to go through a test of some kind, you better have a plan on what to do if you get diagnosed. And that makes sense, doesn't it? That way you're not caught off guard and you're not scared to death and do what it is they want you to do. Well, in my view, in my family's view, we have taken this hardcore stance that if we ever got diagnosed with cancer, we know what we would do. Therefore, why don't we do that today? Why don't we do it now? Why don't we behave properly today to avoid the cancer diagnosis in the first place? There's a lot more peace this way. I'm 44 years old right now. I'm not having to worry about starting to do these prostate or colonoscopy exams as time goes by. My mom doesn't do those anymore. No mammograms or pap smears. My wife and my daughter will never have to face a pap smear, because we know what we would do if we got diagnosed. Why don't we do that anyway? Now, if you want to know how you're doing, there is a very safe way to test a screening type of test for all cancers, and that's called a thermogram. Right? You can talk to our front desk. We are using a facility. We use different facilities around the North Texas area. They can tell you who we're working with today, and if you want to get that screening test, that is a non-invasive, non-penetrating type of test. Or you could do an MRI. That's a really big deal. It's quite a bit more expensive, but you could do this thermogram, very inexpensive, and it will detect any cellular activity that's abnormal. So, for example, if my prostate is developing cancer cells, this thermal image will detect a hot spot down near my prostate, and then we would know what to do accordingly. Now, again, if I ever did get diagnosed with prostate cancer, I'll tell you exactly what I would do. I'll tell you what I would start with, all right? So here's a couple things for you to take note on. Maybe watch this later and let it sink into your mind. The first thing I would do is get with my associate doctor, Dr. Angela. and then have her adjust me 4 to 5 to 6 times a day. I want to keep my spine flowing. So that's pretty easy. And if you ever get diagnosed with that, I will tell you right off the bat, get in here every day so we can keep your spine flowing. The second thing I would do is completely eliminate any food that turns into sugar, any type of carbohydrate. That includes alcohol, that includes cereal, that includes bananas, any type of sugary fruit, any type of bread, pasta, rice, crackers, chips. You'd have to eliminate anything that turns into sugar because that is cancer's primary food source is sugar. And then the third thing I would do is douse my body with high doses of oxygen. So we have an ozone therapy unit at my house. I would be climbing into that. We're doing that every day now. You've got ozone places around the city. You've got these oxygen drops that you can take that will saturate your blood with oxygen within seconds. We have those up front. So there's some easy things to do. The fourth thing I would do is take a huge dose of vitamin D. And when I say huge dose, I'm talking 50,000 IUs of vitamin D a day for 3 days. Now, vitamin D is something that if you want to do a real test to see if you're vulnerable to cancer, vitamin D blood test is a very easy and safe thing to do. We tested mine the other day and it was a little low. I was shocked. It was down to 44. You want to get that vitamin D level up to 80. So right now I'm taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. I took 20,000 a day for 3 days. So I'm loading up on the vitamin D. We're going to retest my vitamin D here in a couple of months. That's something easy for you to do. We have the test forms up there. I have an account set up with LabCorp. You can pick up this form and it's $60. If you were to go pay for it yourself, it's like 120 bucks, but we've got an account. Like I said, you can pay us 60 bucks, take this form, go do the vitamin D test, and that will give you a real good indicator if your body is in a state where it would allow cancer to really grow. And if you go online and look up any type of vitamin D and vitamin D3 testing and what that has to do with cancer, it's all over the place. Vitamin D penetrates cancer cells and activates the gene that causes the life cycle to continue so the cell dies off. That's a very short version, but vitamin D will trip the gene that causes the cancer cells to die off. All right, then it also, if you keep your body saturated with vitamin D, all kinds of diseases have a hard time flourishing, from osteoporosis to autoimmune disease, things like MS. I mean, you take copious amounts of vitamin D, D3, and you need to take it with a probiotic. So our capsules have probiotic in there, and I would suggest taking it while you're eating a meal. It's a little bit better if you eat a meal with spinach. You need some vitamin K in there. But vitamin D is one of the best things you can do and the easiest things you can do, along with oxygen, along with cutting out all the sugars, all the carbohydrates from your diet. Then get your spine cooking, get your spine flowing and keep it flowing. If you want to really promote a cancer-free environment, that's what you do. So just to summarize, mammograms, colonoscopies, prostate exams, pap smears, none of those things do anything but hurt you and cause more devastation to your body. If they find cancer, then what would you do about it? Because they're only going to want to medicate you. So why don't you treat your body right to begin with? And if you want to test, a safe way to do it is called a thermogram. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Share this, spread the word, and God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.